A very good noon to all of you. I am Nikita and I welcome you to this session 100 Most Expected TISSNET English Questions. So, we've already had some sessions in this series, yes, and continuing with that, let's again practice some questions today in a timed manner. Let's see where we stand, how many we get correct, how many incorrect. Let's see how to navigate questions when, let's say, we do not know the exact meaning of the word or how to eliminate options through grouping. Let's look at all of that. Hi Naman, hello Jonty, hi Sonal, good noon. How are you all? So, as I told you, we are going to learn how to approach various question types, and the idea is always to solve more and more questions, to practice more and more questions. Hello Anukriti. All right then. So, I'll straight away launch into questions. So, today let's do grammar first. Usually we do vocabulary first, right? So, here's an error spotting question on your screen. Four options given to you. Tell me what the answer should be. Okay. Hi Troy. Hello Hiba. Hi Shilpa. Are great Naveen. That's good to know. Let's see what you say to this. So, what is your answer? Troy says C. Jonty says D. Naman C. All right. Anukriti C. Sonal C. Okay, quite a few C's here. Why C? What is wrong with C? Hmm. It should be 10 foot. Good, Julia. Absolutely correct. It should be 10 foot. Okay. So why should it be 10 foot? Because when we, place such adjectives that have a measure before the noun, okay, before the noun. So rope is the noun here, which is being described. So for instance, let's talk about a child who is 3 years old, right? So I will say the child is 3 years old. So here I will write it in the usual manner when the adjective comes after the noun child. When the adjective comes after the noun child, then I'll write it in the usual manner. 3 years. Years will be plural here, right? However, if I place this as an adjective before child, the 3-year-old child, the 3-year-old child was crying. Okay, so now I will not say 3 years, I will rather say 3 years because it comes before the noun, right? Now, one more thing is the hyphenation. I will hyphenate this entire thing. 3-year old. This is one adjective here. Okay, I'm creating a compound adjective phrase here. 3-year old. All of this describes the child. Okay, so 10 foot long rope. That's how I should write it. Make sense? 10 foot long. This is how I should write it. All right. Coming to our next question, which is again an error spotting question. Let's see what you say here. Okay. These are your options. So, are there any parts that are erroneous? Or is there no error? Yes, absolutely. 2 hyphens, 3 hyphens, we can have multiple hyphens together. Okay. Good afternoon, innocent. Naman says A and B are erroneous. Dhanvesh says B. Naveen says A. Others B. All right. Okay. So quite a few B's in the chat box. C. Okay, one C also. All right, but most of you say B and you are absolutely correct. When I chose to sit, this should be beside her. The correct preposition that we should use here is beside, because beside means next to, whereas besides means additionally, except for, apart from, right? This is what besides means. So again, both are prepositions, but both mean different things. Beside, next to, besides, except for, or in addition to. Right? So that's why A is definitely erroneous. She was, now this is idiomatic. This is a combination of a vocabulary and grammar question. When you are beside yourself with some emotion, okay, beside oneself, beside, she was beside herself, he was beside himself, okay, I was beside myself. So when someone is beside oneself with a certain emotion, okay, that means they are overwhelmed. So one could be beside oneself with anger. It doesn't always have to be happiness. So beside oneself with something, and this is the preposition that we need here, beside again. So A and B both are erroneous. B, Bangalore is the answer. Right? Make sense? So I think we've discussed this concept of besides earlier as well. Somehow I'm able to recall this. Okay. Maybe in a question came in your past year papers, previous year papers where we discussed this. Okay. Fill in the blanks. Let's have a look at this question here. Again, the good old few little concept that is being tested here. A few, the few, too few. So fill in the blanks. Naman says D. Jaunty D. Sonal D. A lot of D's in the chat box. Okay. So I gave him dash suggestions yesterday, but apparently they were dash for him to take any notice. So I want to say that, see, I did give him some suggestions. I gave him some suggestions. Okay. So the word, the term that I should use for that is a few. I myself won't say that I gave him few suggestions. No, few means negligible. Why would I say that I gave him negligible suggestions? Okay, negligible. Okay, what is happening? Huh. So I myself won't say this, no, that I gave him negligible suggestions. I gave him a few suggestions. I am pretty sure that they were sufficient from my end, but they were too few for him to notice. So two structure, remember this. Two. It was too cold to go out. It was too hot to drink. So this two structure will be preserved here, and that's why D, Delhi is the answer. Okay, a few indicates, okay, not a lot but sufficient. Few indicates not a lot and insufficient. So we will not write few here. We will again not say I gave him too few suggestions, right? Hope this makes sense. Not B. Some of you said B. B does not fit here because of this two structure. So they were few for him to take any notice. No, they were too few for him. Even though few means negligible, here we have to preserve this two structure. Right? Okay, so D, Delhi here. Let's go to the next question. Fill in the blanks. Four options again. Let's see what you say. Right. So what do you say for this one? Naman says A. Mitesh A. Jonty A. All right, all right. Quite a few A's. Good. Others, do we agree? It's a habit, right? So why am I using the continuous tense, the past continuous tense for the habit? Hmm. Who will tell me? What's the concept behind this? Why not be? Because I'm talking about about a habit that they always did something, right? So why not be Bangalore? That's my question. I was always giving my best. This is not a continuous action here. Some of you are marking this. I was always giving my best. See, I want to say that despite this fact, I always gave my best. It wasn't that uh, मैं अपना बेस्ट दे रही थी. That's not what I want to say. मैं अपना बेस्ट देती थी, right? That's the idea. So I am talking about what I used to do, right? What was my habit. So for that, I will not use the continuous tense. And that is why I'm asking you this question also. Why A? Why are you saying that here we should put were always surfing? Why not B? Because we are talking about two habits. Nobody's going to answer that. You are right in saying A. A is the answer. So there is a concept here. Usually for habits, for past habits, see for present habits, we use the present simple tense. For past habits, we use the past simple tense. But there is an exception to this. Okay. For obstinate habits, annoying habits, habits that persist despite your annoyance with them, right? For them, we do not use the simple tense, we use the continuous tense. So if they are present obstinate habits, we'll use the present continuous tense. If they are past obstinate habits, we'll use the past continuous tense with them. Okay, so she was always surfing the internet in my class. He was always chewing gum in my class. They were always talking in my class. Obstinate habits. I don't like this, right? Negative habits. And that is why the past continues here because I'm talking about a past situation. If this were a present situation, she is always chewing gum in my class. That's how I would put it. Present continuous, not the present simple. So that's why not this, but this. Right? So that's why A is the answer and not B. You were correct. Just that you should know the logic also behind your answers. Okay. Now, let's look at this. You have to find the correct sentence here. So, a number of sentences are given to you and a combination of options is given. Okay. No, we are talking about past habits, Naman. So, I don't know where, I am talking about a past situation. So probably these students are not with me any longer. I don't even teach them any longer, right? Asta, usually, yes, we try that we, make your marks a notch higher. That's the effort. So, if you're talking particularly about BYJU'S marks, for them, I can say this, that yes, they are slightly tougher than the actual exam. How do I increase my score? Although, but I don't know where I'm lacking. Okay. So, Asta, in the English section, what is your score? Can you tell me? D, B, all right. Okay. So, both of these are incorrect. Okay. Both are incorrect. This is correct. Only three. D, Delhi is the answer. Let's look at why 1 and 2 are incorrect. So, the concept that I'm trying to teach you through this question is of modifiers. Right. So I realize that in our previous sessions, we've talked about parts of speech errors, but we have not discussed modifiers and parallelism to that extent. So that let's look at this. One morning, he shot an elephant in his pajamas. What impression does this sentence give you? Just visualize this. One morning, he shot an elephant in his pajamas. This is actually a popular joke. How did the elephant reach his pajamas? So, this in his pajamas is misplaced here. It is misplaced here. Yes? So, where should I place it? We could put it like this. In his pajamas, he shot an elephant one morning. In his pajamas, he shot an elephant one morning. Okay, this is how we can put this sentence. Now it's very clear that he was in his pajamas. The elephant was not in his pajamas, right? So that was the error here. This was a misplaced modifier. We call this a misplaced modifier. Modifiers are descriptors. They give descriptions. They give you additional information about a particular noun or a pronoun. So here, in his pajamas was describing he. It was not describing the elephant. Okay. Coming to 2. He emptied onto the floor the shells from the gun. He emptied onto the floor. वो खुद ही खाली हो गया फ्लोर पे. See, just imagine this. He emptied onto the floor. I mean, one picture that I get is as if he's vomiting. One picture that I get is that he somehow emptied onto the floor. I don't know how that's humanly feasible. So this is the error here. He emptied the shells onto the floor, isn't it? So he emptied the shells from the gun onto the floor. Onto the floor should come here. Okay, not here because here it has the potential to modify emptied also, which is incorrect. Right? So 1 and 2 were incorrect, and that's why the only possible answer is 3. Yes, I sometimes do eat meat. This is an emphatic sentence. Students think that this do is not required. You're absolutely right. In a normal situation, this do is not required. But sometimes we emphasize what we say, right? So for instance, uh, let's say someone is forcing you to study, okay, for your exam, and you're not, and at that moment you're not in the mood, but otherwise you study. So you can say, I do study all the time. Give me a break. So it's a way of emphasizing something. So yes, I sometimes do eat meat. This is correct. No error here, right? Okay, okay. Not sure about logic. Okay. Okay, great. That's good, Mitesh. If it's working for you, then it's great, right? And it's okay, sometimes we mark by instinct. So if let's say we have been a good reader, okay, and we have practiced for various omits also, other omits also, then in that case, yes, you do develop a good instinct which helps you to mark these questions. 70% of the grammar questions, in case you've been a good reader all your life, you can solve them through your instinct. It's just that for the other 30%, you need the grammar rules. Hence the sessions. Hence I'm explaining the logic to you. So good if it's working for you. Now 18 to 20 in English. All right. So we have a scope here. See this in English. If I look at your TISSNET section, I need some space. Just a second. So if I look at your TISSNET English section, you have vocabulary, you have grammar, You have some verbal reasoning, and there is, of course, up to 10 questions from RC passages. Okay, so see what is your accuracy here in the RC passages, right? Usually in TISSNET, you get about 7 questions are on the easier side. I can say that 70% of the RC passage is of the questions from the RC passage are usually from the easier side. So see, are you getting 7 correct here? If not, if let's say it's just 5 on 10, then there is a scope to improve here, right? How can you improve here? Practice more and more RC passages and see the rationale why you're getting these questions incorrect, right? Is it a particular question type? So for instance, a lot of students have a problem with the main idea question. So in case that is a challenge, then see how you can address it. Okay, practice more questions of that type. In case the genre is a problem, read from those genres, right? So this is how you address this problem. Verbal reasoning in TISSNET is not difficult. Okay, so you could get some parajumbles here and there. You could get a very normal, usual reasoning question. I've even covered some reasoning questions with you in the previous sessions. So this again should not be a challenge. If you're making mistakes here, I am sure these are silly mistakes. So there is always scope to improve on our silly mistakes here. So let's say 3 questions from here, 1 question from here, I can get correct. More in addition, okay, not just 3 out of 10. Then coming to vocabulary and grammar. See, vocabulary at the end of the day, it's a matter of what comes in your exam on that particular day, right? So it's possible that out of the, let's say, 7 questions that come from vocabulary, 5, 6 questions, right? But it's also possible that just 4, 3 of the questions are from words that you do not know. So in that case, just smartly make calculated guesses and proceed. You can't do much about it. Okay, so even if you lose, let's say, 3 marks here, I understand that it's difficult, but that's okay. You can make up for it in the rest of the areas. Grammar is very knowledge based. So ideally, and TISSNET grammar is not difficult. So ideally, you should not make errors in this portion. This is, if you ask me, this is the most scoring portion out there when it comes to any exam because this is knowledge based. So here, please brush up your concepts. In case any concept, any area, any part of speech is not clear, work on it. Practice more and more questions. At this stage, learning through questions is what will benefit you the most, right? So this is how you can address your problem area by area in the English section. All right, hope this helps. Coming to the next one, next question. Okay, again find the correct sentence. So here the same sentence has been repeated in different ways 4 times. All right, what do you say? D, okay. Some set of questions for practice. So Naveen, do you have the NMAT official guide? D, C, A, okay. All right. So more of D's I can see, okay. Then a couple of A's and a couple of C's also. Good. B is something that nobody has marked. See, it's your typical since versus for concept. Again, I'm testing you on prepositions through this, right? So, can I say since 6 months? Since 6 months. B and C should have been eliminated outrightly. I cannot say since 6 months. 6 months is a duration, isn't it? Whereas since as a preposition for time, when do we use since as a preposition for time? When we are talking about a point of time, not a period of time. This duration is a period of time, right? So what is a point of time? Naming a particular day, Sunday, Monday, right? naming a particular month. So for instance, January here, that's the point of time, an exact point of time, 10 a.m., 10 p.m. So here, since January is correct. Since January, correct. But B is incorrect because of this, right? From January, no. This is a very common error. Students tend to translate it from Hindi to English. January से को वो from January कर देते हैं. No. Okay. It should be since January. So this also seems correct. This also seems correct. Since I am the one who has been training her since January, I should get credit for all the 6 months. Now, the error between A and D. What is the error? There is an error in D. Those who mark D. Since a point of time. So this is a tenses ka error now. So this concept, this question tests you on prepositions plus tenses. See this. When I say since a point of time, that means an activity has been going on since that point of time. And for something that has been going on, it started at certain point and it is still going on. It started at certain point. I give you the starting point also, and I want to indicate that it is still going on. For that, we do not use the simple continuous tense. We rather use the present continuous, we rather use the perfect continuous tense. Simple continuous नहीं use करेंगे हम, यहाँ पर हम use करेंगे present perfect continuous tense. So, I am the one who has been training her since January. It's a very common error that I encounter. Students, some of my colleagues also, they say that, I am teaching, let's say, since 10 a.m. Okay, this is incorrect. I have been teaching since 10 a.m. When you give the starting point and you want to show that, okay, this activity started at this point and it is still going on, you do not use the simple continuous. Okay, I am teaching will be used when you're talking about the fact that, okay, right now I am teaching or these days I am teaching. So A is the answer here. Hope this is clear to everyone. Since is redundant in A. Okay, why is since redundant in A? This since, okay, so since can be used as a preposition to mean time. Okay, it can also be used as a conjunction to indicate the cause of something. So here I am using it as a conjunction to indicate the cause, that because I am the one who has been teaching her. This means because here. This since means because. Okay, because I am the one who has been teaching her since January. That's the meaning of this particular clause. Does this make sense? Okay. I understand. So basically, then this is a new learning for you. Since is a preposition also. Since is a subordinate conjunction also. Conjunction bhi hota hai since. As a conjunction, it means because. Okay. So here it means because. That means I created a good question. This is because. Here it's a preposition of time. Okay. And here we'll use since and here we'll use for. Also, we'll use the present perfect continuous tense here. Make sense? Chalo. Good question then, a good learning for you. Let's go to a fill in the blank question. Now, this is a vocabulary based fill in the blank. Let's talk about vocabulary now. Uh, See, because would make more sense, we can't say that. Since also makes perfect sense here. Why? Because I want to indicate the cause of something. So, since is used to indicate that cause-effect relationship. Okay, I could also use because there. That was an alternative, but we can't say that one makes more sense over the other. Both make sense. All right. Okay, then let's have a look at this. Fill in the blanks. Two blanks here. Right. So what is the tire? When you humorously mock. When you mock humorously. That's when you employ satire. Right? It's a form of irony. It's a use of, it employs irony. You can say that. Satire employs irony. So basically, irony implies doing the opposite of what you intend, right? Or when there is a vast difference between expectation and reality, that is ironical. Satire employs irony to mock something. For instance, all your parodies of movies, right? All your parodies. So what do? They mock the, let's say, Dhoom's parody. I saw a parody of the movie Dhoom. So they mock the unrealistic action in the movie. So by doing the same thing, they mock it by doing the same thing humorously. So we don't expect something that is mocking the action to actually repeat that action, but it repeats that action and then also it manages to mock it. That is satire. I'm sure you've seen a lot of satirical movies, you've read some satirical books. So, understanding this is important to attempting this question. Lugubrious is a difficult word here. Yes, some of you must have felt that. Lugubrious. A lot of you have said A for this question. However, lugubrious means sad. It means gloomy. So, was his wit sad? Was his sense of humor, was his wit, was it sad? So why would people enjoy it then? A and C should have been eliminated. The competition was between B and D. Gotham says D, Jonty also says D. So, good. Those who say D, D is the answer here. Right? Trenchant. What does trenchant mean? So, a new word for you, trenchant. Anybody, just guess the meaning. Okay. It's okay if you don't know it. कैसी होगी उसकी wit? Guess करके बताओ मुझे. I'm not going to tell you the meaning right away. Something that hurts. Yes, his wit would hurt. Yes, it would be something that's very incisive, very biting, cutting. That is trenchant. Okay, so his listeners enjoyed his incisive wit, but his victims, they often winced at its satire. They would be pained, right? So listeners enjoyed, but victims, they were often pained by they winced. Okay, so D Delhi is the answer here. Yes, trenchant roasting. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, trenchant होगा जब आप roast कर रहे हो किसी को. Very good. So yes, you can associate this sentence with roasts. All right, good. So D Delhi is the answer. What is smarted? Smart under pain. Have you heard this term? Smart as a verb, not as an adjective. Smart. Hmm. So when something stings you, okay, that's when you smart under its pain. So this means this has been used as a verb here. It means they were stung. That's how I should write it, that they were stung. Okay, they felt that somebody had just burnt them that way. Right? Okay, so now this is a new word for you, trenchant. Lugubrious may also be new for some of you. Remember these words. Okay, now coming to another one. So two blanks here again. Okay, five options by mistake. There should have been four, but okay, attempt this. These are the names of cases. Okay, this is the name of a case. This is the name of a case. This is also the name of a case in court. All right. So Dobbs versus Jackson, Women's Health Organization, that's a court case. The dash case marking the end of these two previous judgments. began as a dash challenge to an abortion law in Mississippi. What should we say? I've got 3 D's. I've got 1 A. Okay, one more D. So quite a few D's here I can see. Okay, B. All right. Monkey D. Luffy says B. Why monkey? Why B? Kostab also says B. Okay. So here grammar can help you. Okay, something that I wanted to show you. Sometimes grammar can help. So make use of that help. First of all, I need adjectives in both the blanks. I think that is clear to everybody. Also, articles can help as a dash challenge. So as a uncustomary, no, we can't write a uncustomary. An uncustomary hoga na, right? So a does not fit here. A ordinary does not fit here. So A and C eliminated. So what are we left with then? B, D and E. Watershed, momentous. What do these words mean? Watershed case, momentous case. कैसा case था? Important, unimportant. So when we call something a watershed moment, so if I say partition, the 1947 partition was a watershed moment in the history of India, that means it was a turning point. It was a very important moment. Momentous also means important. It does not mean momentary. Okay. It does not mean momentary. It means it means something that's significant. Momentary matlab lasting only a short time. So momentary is lasting a short time, lasting just a moment. Okay, so these two fit here. Historical case. Okay, historical would mean okay, it belongs to the past. It's a past case. Fine, I'm not eliminating it right away. Let's look at the second blanks. Run of the mill, something that's pretty ordinary is run of the mill. Okay, it began as a run of the mill challenge. Okay, makes sense. It began as a historic challenge. See, now I am saying that it began as something and then the judgment that came was historic. So if I'm saying that it began as a historic case, began as a significant case, and then the judgment also was significant, that makes less sense than saying that it began as something ordinary, but when the judgment came out, it turned out to be something quite significant. So that's why D is also eliminated. D is not the answer here, right? So between B and E, now tell me which one fits. Does middle of the road fit? Middle of the road simply means, a middle path approach, something that's not extreme. That's middle of the road. So that does not make sense actually in the second blank here, that it began as a middle of the road challenge and a not so extreme challenge. Okay, this makes much more sense. This makes much more sense that it proved to be a watershed case, a case that marked the turning point. But it began as something pretty ordinary. It began as a run-of-the-mill challenge. So these are slightly, I brought some difficult vocabulary questions for you in these fill in the blanks because we've practiced a lot of easy to moderate questions, and usually the level of your questions is easy to moderate only. But yes, we should practice some difficult questions also. That was the intention. Right? So B Bangalore is the answer. Good that you've understood this. If you have any query in this or in the previous question, please ask. Right? Milestone again means something that's a significant event. Landmark again something that's significant. So all of these are similar words. Landmark, watershed, milestone, momentous. Historic versus historical. Historic is significant whereas historical is past. Run of the mill is ordinary. Middle of the road is something that's very mild, something that's not very extreme. Right? Okay then, perfect. Why I eliminated D? Yes, sure. Let's have a look. D is actually a tempting option to mark. Dobbs versus Jackson, the dash case marking the end of, so it was important because it marked the end of the previous two judgments, began as a dash challenge to an abortion law in Mississippi. Okay, so I am saying that something began in a certain way, but then it turned out to be a turning point. Turning point means, okay, that we are marking a departure from an earlier practice. So it began as something simple, but it turned out to be something important. That is the intention here. If it began as something historic, like you expect the results also to be historic, right? So then there is no contrast here, whereas here there is a sense of contrast in the sentence. Hence, B. All right. Okay. Let's go to the next one then. Understood, Naman and Gautam? Okay. Let's come to this a synonym question. A synonym in context, meaning that a sentence will be given to you. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. There is A and 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them are here. So just deleting this. Yes. Let's have a look. He couldn't succeed as he was not a ponderous student. Okay. Naman, in the absence of what? So I'm getting a lot of B's. Ponderous means laborious. Absolutely correct. So B, Bangalore is the answer here. Good, good. Some of you say C and D also, but those are not the meanings of the words, of the word ponderous. Ponderous means something that involves a lot of, hard labor from your end. It does not have to do with pondering. Sometimes students associate it with pondering, but no, it does. It has to do with the fact that something involves a lot of effort from your end. Okay. In fact, it's quite often used for when we give book reviews. So reviewers often say this: if some author's writing style is very labored, it looks very forced, right? It looks very deliberate. For them also, for those writers also, the word ponderous is used for their writing. Okay, ponderous writing, ponderous speech. मतलब कि बहुत ही labored लग रहा था, forced लग रहा था, right? So that's the idea. Okay, perfect. So B is the answer here. Let's go to another question. Here's a sentence for you. Tell me what the answer should be. Which of the following words means the same or is similar to the underlined word? No, monkey, it's not a positive word. It's a negative word. When you call someone's writing ponderous, you are in a way critical of their writing. That बहुत ही forced लग रहा है, पता लग रहा है कि बहुत ही it's not natural, it's not effortless. That's what you want to say when you call something labored. Okay, so 3, 4, 3 versus 4. Okay, 2 also, a couple of 2s. Okay, okay. The answer here is you had to give a similar word. A group of people from the society cleared up the raffle. Cleared up the refuse. Refuse means dirt also. Refuse means garbage also. Okay. So garbage, uh, again dirt. Okay. All of these mean refuse also. So it's 1. It's not crowd. It's not just about rappers. It's not a garden at all. 2 and 4 should have been outrightly eliminated. The confusion should be between 1 and 3 in my opinion. Okay. So it's 1 that is the answer. Waste. Yes, refuse means waste. Okay. So 1. Clear? So read your words very carefully, okay, and accordingly mark the answer. I'm sure a lot of you thought of this refuse as a refusal, to refuse someone something, right? To deny. No, it has an it's used as a noun also. Fine. Okay, then let's look at an odd word out question. So four options are given to you. Tell me which is the odd word out. An easy question. These words are high frequency words. I've discussed some of these already with you. So this should not be a problem. So that's a good thing, Naman, that you're learning a lot of synonyms before the exam. Okay. See, this one is easy. I told you. Palliative and placebo. We've already done these words, haven't we? So palliative care, I remember I discussed palliative care with you, right? I also told you that painkillers are called palliatives. It's a noun also. Okay, palliative is used as a noun as well. It's used as an adjective and as a noun. As a noun, it means any medicine that soothes your pain, eases your pain. So that is why, painkillers are also called palliatives. Then, as an adjective, it means something that is meant to ease your pain. So, people who are suffering from terminal diseases, right? For them, there are wards called palliative care wards, right? So, because their diseases can't be treated, the focus isn't just easing their pain, right? Placebo. What does a placebo do? It gives you the impression that you are getting better, right? In a way, just like this soothes you by leading you to think that you're getting better. So, in that sense, it is related. You get it? They are not exact synonyms, mind you. Don't substitute one for the other. Placebo is basically a medicine that does not have any medicinal ingredient, but you feel that you are getting better because of the psychological fact of taking a medicine. Right? You think that because you're taking a medicine, your brain in fact deludes you into thinking, "Acha, theek hai, hum better ho rahe hain." Right? In case any Harry Potter fans are there, remember Harry tells Ron that I have given you the luck potion, but he never actually gives him the luck potion. But Ron thinks that, okay, now that I've drunk the luck potion, I'll get lucky. And accordingly, he plays better that day. Right? So that's placebo. Placebo effect is a very commonly discussed effect in psychology, in medicine particularly. Good. Pleasing. Correct. Placebo is a Latin word, a Latin term, which means I shall please. I shall please. So these things we have already discussed. Mollify. To mollify someone is again to calm them down, to soothe them in a way. To calm someone down, to soothe them. Okay. So that is to mollify someone. In that sense, all these three are related. Whereas the word pernicious, absolutely. So even, if you didn't know the exact meanings of these words, it's very easy to see that these have a positive nature. Whereas pernicious is outrightly negative nature. Yes, connotation. So pernicious, something that's harmful and dangerous. That is pernicious. The pernicious effects of surfing the internet, of social media, right? So these the answer here. Yes, tranquilizers are palliative in nature. Correct, correct. Clear to everyone? D is the answer. I'm sure a lot of you marked the correct answer. So I'm sure it is clear to you. Idioms. Yes. Very easy. Both are commonly used idioms. What do you say? Okay, B is what Naman says. Others? Nandini says D. Sarika says C. Monkey D. Julia D. Mayuri B. All right. So I can see a lot of D's in the chat box. And you're absolutely correct. D is the answer. See, to sit tight. When you tell someone to sit tight, that means you tell them, okay, don't take any action right now. Okay. So just wait. Don't take any action right now. So be alert, but don't act. So remain firm in your position. That is to sit tight. To put your foot, there is this I mean proverb in the stock market: buy right, hold tight, or sit tight. That's what they say. Buy right and hold or sit tight. Okay, so buy the right stocks and then just wait. Okay, even if you want to sell them, let's say, you have to wait for the right time. And hold tight means that, okay, just hold them, don't sell them. So these are some common sayings. So sit tight means this. Put your foot in your mouth means that you said something really awkward that you regret. Okay, that is to put your foot in your mouth. So D, Delhi is the answer here. No, it's not about stubbornness, not about any insights. Parsimonious. No, sit tight does not mean that you are a miserly person. You are conjuice. No, that does not mean that. So, just one option that fitted. This is like vocabulary. There are fixed meanings here. Okay, another idiom coming your way. Tell me, what is the meaning of this idiom, long row to hoe? She has a long row to hoe. Okay, so I've got D, then I've got a C, B, okay. Very varied options here. Hmm. I need more answers. Come on. This is an idiom. This is vocabulary. Make a calculated guess if you don't know the meaning. Okay, B. All right. Some C's also. So it's B versus C in the chat box. I can see that. So if someone has a long row to hoe, that means they've taken up a challenging task that will go on for a long, long period of time. That is a long row to hoe. So B is the answer, not C. It's not about a person, right? So B, Bangalore, not C. Good, good, good. Those who said B, you are correct. So these were some questions for today. I hope you understood the meanings of all the words that we discussed in vocabulary and you realized why we put a certain word in that context, right? Then I aim to teach you some grammar rules today. So for instance, the one related to since versus for. Then we did some modifier questions today. So keep practicing diverse questions even in grammar, right? Now, this is our 2023 CAT comprehensive course. In case any of your friends or in case you are planning to take CAT in 23, then this is the time to enroll. Okay, a lot of features available in this. So enroll now. The link is in the description box. And for this, for making this course accessible, we even have scholarships available. So you can get up to a 90% scholarship by taking the scholarship test on the 18th of Feb at 7 p.m. Right. For this, you have to register in advance, and our students have won scholarships. Okay, it's anyway easier than CAT, much easier than CAT. Then in case you are worried about your test taking strategy, you are worried about the timing of your preparation or any such questions that you have, you can attend this workshop by Saril sir. Register right now for it. It's on the 21st of Feb at 7 p.m. Also, because GK is something that all of you are worried about for TISSNET, we decided to start a series for this. So from the 19th of February, we will see you daily at 9:30 p.m. and we will attempt some GK questions. Okay, so our GK experts will see you then, right? So you should join that. Then, yes, tonight there is a session at 8 p.m. So this is the last lab to TISSNET. Okay, so it will happen today as well. The NMAT guide, usually you have to purchase it. I do not, if any of your friends has it, any of your friends who prepared for NMAT, you can ask them. Okay. Uh, So MBA CET, some of you are very eager for MH CET. We have started with sessions also. You can attend those sessions, watch those sessions. Also take this mock so that you understand where you stand in MH CET. Very important. Just attending sessions without test taking is just half the effort. Okay, stay connected. I hope you've subscribed to the channel. If you like the session, please press the like button. And on our app also, we keep conducting very informative sessions based on vocabulary, grammar, RC passages. So you can attend those as well. Okay, so this is it from my side. I hope you learned something today. I'll see you next then in the next session. Okay, bye bye.